Toastmasters and guests. Today we will take a deep dive into search engine world to understand the magic that happens when you search for something. We'll understand the preparation that search engines like Yahoo and Google have to do to be ready for you to search. There are three main components to a search engine. There is the crawler, the indexer, and the query server. I'll repeat that. There is the crawler, the indexer, and the query server. So we'll understand these with a comparison to a brick and mortar library that stores books. So for a library to even start functioning, somebody must go out and collect all those books. Let's call this person the book collector. Now just like the book collector is out collecting books, we have our web crawler that is out collecting web pages. In search engine jargon, each web page is called a document. Now what are the main responsibilities of a book collector? He must ensure that he keeps tab of all new books out there so he can order them. He must not order the same book twice. And he must discard all old books and replace them with newer editions. Our web crawler does exactly that. The interesting part is how does the web crawler find out about new web pages? So let's take an example. We are setting up a new Toastmasters club in India. We can create a website for it. But how do we tell Google and the world that that website exists? Very simply, we can link it from the Bangalore Toastmasters Club and say that some of us are setting up a Toastmasters Club in India. So the next time Google comes to crawl the Bangalore Toastmasters Club, it follows the link and crawls the Indranagar Toastmasters Club as well. So that is simply how the web crawler works. Let's move on to our second component. What is our second component? Can someone tell me? You guys are paying attention. The indexer. The indexer is very similar to a librarian's database. So the book collector we spoke about, when he gets all those books, he must go to the librarian and tell her to update her system. So for every book, she puts the title, the author, a description. So the next time you go to her and tell her that you want all of Harry Potter's books, she can tell you which specific ones she can show you. The indexer does exactly that. For every web page that the crawler brings to it, it extracts all the important information and creates what we call an inverted index. An inverted index is nothing but an index of all of the words that Google has crawled, where each word points to all the documents that that word was found in. And that is how, when you search for something, Google looks up the inverted index and knows which web pages to show you. The indexer also does one other very important function. It assigns a score to every document based on how good it thinks that document is. Now, how does any indexer know how good the document is? It does so based on how many other documents link to it. So let's take the Indranagar Toastmasters Club example once again. So if the main Toastmasters Club also linked to the Indranagar Toastmasters Club, if all of us were blogging about it, talking about it on Facebook and Twitter, it would have a much higher score. So that in a sense is how the indexer works. So our last component is the query server, which is the simplest component. And it's very much like the librarian herself. So the query server very simply takes the query, it corrects spelling mistakes and looks up synonyms, and then looks up the inverted index and sees which documents that match. It selects documents based on relevance as well as the ones which have the highest scores. So that in a sense is how the query server works, but it doesn't only end there. When you look at your search result pages, it waits to see which ones you are clicking on and adjusts the scores of the document accordingly. So the ones that